Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox with Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. We're coming to you today from our respective man caves, but we're gearing up for a really big week ahead. It's Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival week. It is well underway with the intimate dinners the last two nights, and tonight, I think Lubie is going to be joining me tonight. The bar fight cocktail competition, which I am happy to report is another sellout. So all three Lunchbox promoted with the promo code for the extra discount tickets. All three of those events, the barbecue battle on Friday night at the Hyatt Centric Hotel and the big grand tasting on Saturday at the Las Olas Beachfront Park, is all sold out. And Phil and Kate want to thank everybody for the support. They also want to tell people don't buy tickets on the secondary market. I already seen some people trying on Let's Eat to find some tickets. And you don't know who they are and don't trust anybody because they're not selling anymore. And everything is identified with people's names, and they don't want any kind of scalping, selling market out there. So, but that's a sign of a surefire hit there, right, Defo? If people want to scalp their way into a food festival.
Always nice when the demand is higher than the availability, and that's an ideal thing. But I think a lot of that's predicated on the fact that, as we've said many times with regard to this particular event, that they do the right thing, that they don't oversell it. I mean, it's not like you're getting on a Spirit flight and they announce 16 names and ask if you would like to stay overnight in some sleazy hotel and catch a flight out the next day. I mean, they really have it, done right in terms of the number of people going. And, it's going to be a great event. I'm a little envious because I was thinking about trying to comp those bar fight tickets. I think that's going to be really good tonight.
Wait, you were going to go? I thought, I
it's okay. You know what? It's all right. I went out last night, so
I figured, you and your liver got to take it easy. You can't do those back-to-backs, kind of like LeBron James now. In January, you're never going to see him out on the floor back-to-back nights, and that's why I kind of wanted to save you. But you're going to be there coming to eat and drink and have a great time on the Friday night barbecue.
Friday night, that was a great event last year. I really enjoyed it.
Now,
the whole atmosphere and everything. Yeah.
If you wanted to show up solo tonight, I could do that.
I would be more inclined to send the Mustang. This was more.
Oh, okay. Because I do have an extra. Like I get these all access passes that I have. I'm using one for all these events, and then they gave nice enough to give a couple of complimentary tickets for our efforts and to help them out and all kinds of stuff. And So
I'm hoping Lubie does not accost the person with the hors d'oeuvres as they exit the kitchen, which I saw him do at a couple of these affairs, where the person with the tray of little knishes didn't even get 2 steps out of the kitchen, hadn't made it onto the floor.
Yeah,
and Lubie's already shoveling a lot of them into his pockets, and that's it. And he'll get the first 3 guys, and then everybody else is wondering, hey, when are they going to come out here with some food?
Well, tonight is more focused on the alcohol, well, the cocktails, mixologists, all the kind of fancy drinks using different different liquors of different sponsors. I know they have a tequila and probably a rum and a vodka and maybe a bourbon. So we'll see what they come up with. There's also going to be light bites, but again, that's a sellout, and it's taking place at the Las Olas rooftop there at the top of Restaurant People headquarters. We're trying to get on the line. We're excited to get have a few minutes with a special guest, Jason Smith, a star of the Food Network. He won actually the Next Food Network Star competition back in 2017, and has since gone on to become one of their top personalities, known for his baking skills. He's on the Best Baker in America show as a judge and some other things. It looks like we're having a couple of technical issues, so we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll call in. We're trying to get him live and video streaming, but we'll work that out in a minute. I guess we got some other things to discuss there too, Defo, because You mentioned that after your total love of hard shell tacos, you tried to get some last night, and what happened?
Well, I mean, I went to the Tipperary pub, and that's in Delray, at Deerfield. It's not Delray. It's not that far north. It's Hillsborough. Dynamite. I mean, you can't ask for a better
Oh,
thing than the live music that they
yeah, and you
staged there
got your
last night.
soft shell. We'll pick it up after a minute. I don't want to keep Jason waiting. He's a very
All
busy
right,
man. He probably has some biscuits in the oven or something like that. So without further ado,
there he
I
is. Look at this
hate to
guy.
cut you off. Look at that. We got Jason Smith coming to us. Presume from your hometown of Grayson, Kentucky, or do you have some other warmer climate that you escape to in the wintertime?
Well, Lord, honey, no, I ain't coming to you from Kentucky. Too cold in Kentucky. I'm coming to you from my home here in Florida. I'm
Oh,
over at Lakeland. So, yeah.
Lakeland on the other side, the headquarters of Publix, which used to be one of my
Yeah.
favorite supermarkets. But well, welcome to the Lunchbox. This is a kind of a zany show because I used to be a food critic and food writer for the big newspaper down here, the Sun Sentinel, and then I went rogue and now run this huge food Facebook group that has almost 100,000 people called Let's Eat South Florida. And we simulcast this little daily live stream show called The Lunchbox. And I'm joined here by my partner is Jeff Defo DeForest. He's a longtime veteran broadcaster and a sports guy, and Mike Lubie Lubitz. But thanks for coming on. And more importantly, thank you for, I guess you're going to be taking part in this year's Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. Can you just tell us a little bit about, how that all came about, what you're going to be doing, and how many times have you visited the South Florida, Fort Lauderdale area?
Well, Lord, honey, I have been all over Florida. Listen, I'm just like a seagull. You don't ever know where you're going to find me at. So, and I'll just tell you up front, honey, I don't know much about sports, but I do watch basketball and football. But I just know they toss the ball wherever it needs to go. But anyway, they just come to watch with me so I can feed them is what it is. But
Well,
yeah, so yeah, and you can't go wrong with that. I mean, honey, you got to have food when you're watching all that stuff because it wears you out cheering, for your team and stuff. But anyway, yes, so the Visit Fort Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival is going to be awesome. So I have a lot going on with that. I'll be at the barbecue on Friday night, and you never know, I might be judging. We're not
excellent. I'll be one of those.
can't-
Yeah.
We can't say whether we are or not,
Yeah.
but so I'll be there, honey, in all my shiny, glittery jackets and cowboy boots, and I'll be just walking around with a big rib in my mouth or something. But anyway, and then of
You're
course,
my kind of guy because I usually
honey,
walk around double fisted.
I'm like, bring on those big tomahawk steaks is what I want. I need those big old steaks, So, but yeah, it's just going to be a super fun, awesome time. Saturday is going to be a great one as well. I'm doing a stage demo, so everybody can come out and see what I'm going to be doing on stage, honey. And I guarantee you this, it'll be so good, it'll make your tongue slap your brains out. It's that good. So you'll be wanting more of that. And then, of course, I'll also be at Picnic in the Park. We're going to have during the whole weekend, we're going to have all my great apparel line there. We're going to have my candle line. We're going to have my art line there. The cookbook that is coming out this year is going to be announced. That's going to be an official announcement this weekend of when it's coming out. So that's going to be awesome. But more or less, it's all about having fun, eating, drinking, just getting together and just having a wonderful time.
That sounds awesome. Now, you say you don't know or like sports, and again, we do a blended food and sports talk show here. And because I used to be a sports writer before I went rogue and went to the buffet line of life, became a food guy. But you are from a small town of Grayson, Kentucky, and I know like you talk about the holy trinity of bourbon, bacon, and butter, but I got to add a fourth B for you, and that's betting. Because you're from bluegrass country, and that's Kentucky Derby and Churchill Downs. And Defo and I, we do a show every week out at Gulfstream Park here with the ponies. Do you like the horses and the ponies? And does that belong in one of your B's along with? Because I can't think of a better day than having some bourbon, bacon, butter, and some bets. So.
Yeah, that's one thing is Kentucky Derby is bred in every one of us. We are big horse racing people. It's just something that's always there. The horses are great. I usually go to the Derby every year, whether I'm there to cater an event or whether I'm there just being the the celebrity chef on spot or whatever. But it's such an awesome, wonderful time to watch horse racing because it's the most heart pounding 2 minutes of your life that you'll ever have, and and it's just wonderful. But I can add you a fourth B to that. I'm from Kentucky, so what does Kentucky people really do with sports? Basketball.
Basketball.
Oh, I thought you were going to say beer cheese.
Well, no, that's the fifth one, and we do beer cheese as well.
Yeah.
But I do a bourbon.
Burgoo is another beer.
Yeah,
there you go.
But honey, now what's better than beer cheese? Bourbon cheese. I do a bourbon bacon.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Cheese. Oh Lord, honey, I'm telling you what, it's good. It'll make you strip off naked and run down the street. It's that good. Oh Lord.
Now, is beer cheese tantamount to baby formula in Kentucky? Because I remember being on the outskirts of Lexington, going to Keeneland one year, and this guy, seemed like he was a little bit out of it, kept insisting that we try the beer cheese.
Yeah.
And so we finally did. And I don't know. What is your thought about that? I mean,
yeah, beer cheese is one of those things. I don't really know why it's so rooted in Kentucky because we're all about bourbon, but
yeah,
it's just it's another form of way that we can get a little bit of alcohol into our system. I'm pretty sure that's all it is. Yeah, as we say, honey, we start drinking bourbon in our bottles when we're about 4 years old. So
that's good. Hey, I wanted to hit you up one more thing because Defo is a huge fan of mint juleps and being facetious. He hates it. He thinks it's the worst.
Might be the worst cocktail ever conceived.
What's your view of mint juleps?
So mint julep, the traditional mint julep, it's just a tradition to carry one around when you're at the Derby or a horse race. They taste horrible. They're
it's like mouthwash.
They're horrible. I mean,
why ruin good bourbon?
A mint bourbon. I'm like, I'm not sure about this. But we've actually found a way to make mint juleps really good. Is we do a blackberry mint julep, and it kind of takes that minty out of it. So, I mean, if you're going to carry it around, you got to at least drink something. So,
your palate is finally tuned because, we have these mojitos down here are huge. And I went to a bar the other week and we had a blackberry mojito. And again, when they muddle those mint leaves with the fresh blackberry, that was a flavor profile I can get on board with. So, hey, Jason, I want to tell, just fill people in about your background. You said you were a former cafeteria manager. What did you exactly do, and how did you transform and become the next Food Network?
Talk about ranks to riches, though, Mike. I was reading that also. I mean, from school lunch to this, fantastic.
Yeah,
that's a huge metamorphosis.
Oh, honey, it's a story mile long, but I'll give you the short of it. It's a lot longer than a horse race, but we'll try to get it in there. So when I was cafeteria manager in the cafeteria in the school system I was in. And so I went from one of the original lunch ladies, if you so call it.
Nice.
But anyway, feeding these kids every single day of their life. My school, we done all home scratch meals. We done everything from scratch, feeding these kids because the county that I was in, it's a very poverty-stricken county. And some of these meals, that's the only meal that these kids got was breakfast and lunch, and that was it. So I wanted to make sure that these kids were getting great meals. So that's why I went into that field. Plus, I've been cooking since I was 6 years old with my grandmother on the farm. But so it was always about food. But honey, when you work in school system, a good thing is when it snows, you get out of school. So one snowy day on a February day, we were out of school, and I thought, I'm a very competitive person. I've always wanted to be on Holiday Baking Championship, and we were like 2 seasons in. And so I just get on the computer, filled out the application, and they contacted me the next day and said, we love your background. We love what we see. We'd love to move you on the next thing. And it was like a 6-week process to get selected as one of the contestants. And then once I was selected, went on there and done Food Networks done Holiday Baking Championship and won that. And then won Kids versus Adults Holiday Edition. And then they were like, oh my gosh, you're so captivating. And people just love your accent. And they love that you're, from a small town, from a background of being in the cafeteria. We want to do a show with you. And so I was like, cool. I love television. I fell in love with it from the first day of being on camera. So we shot over to the network, a show idea, and they said, you know what? We need him to do Food Network Star. So then I went on Food Network Star and, of course, won Food Network Star, and that's how I got my contract with Food Network to have all the shows that I had. And then it just went from there. So like the horse races, I'm the only person in the food world that they consider a home cook, even though I'm trained to win 3 competitions
Different
on Food
competitions.
Network.
Wow,
I'm still the
that
only
you're a
person.
triple crown winner. That
I'm a
is
triple
very,
crown winner. Yeah.
very, very impressive. What can people see you on the small screen now? Regularly scheduled? Do you have any set
So
scheduled shows now?
yeah, you can see kind of the reruns that's going on of everything I've done, but we have some new shows that just filmed. COVID, of course, threw us plumb off of filming. So, but we're getting back on track. I have a new show coming out in March that's called Twisted Classics, and it's going to be airing on A&E Network. So,
Ooh, okay.
so now I work with a lot of the other networks. Food Network, I had my contract with them for 5 years, and then that was over. And
Oh, okay.
the Discovery bought everything out. So now we're working with other things. Like I work with NBC, ABC,
Oh, great.
Fox,
That's
all
it.
of that.
It's all
So
about the branding, baby. I mean, once you got that,
yes, honey,
you
all
got
that. And I
everything.
do a
Yeah.
lot with Rachel Ray too. So yeah.
Oh, great. She's great. I know that. Well, that's fantastic. And you've got the cookbook coming out. We're talking with Chef Jason Smith. He's going to be all over the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. That's going to be, it's already going on. And tonight we're going to be drinking some cocktails. I'll be one of the judges at that. The cat's out of the bag. I'll be at the barbecue battle. So will Defo and Lubie. We'll all see you there. We'll be carrying around our big beef ribs, and it's going to be a fantastic time. I wanted to ask you, because I know you live on a farm in Grayson, Kentucky, I guess part of the year, and I saw that you have a whole bunch of chickens. I've become obsessed with the price of eggs, and actually the escalating price of eggs.
Obsessed is an understatement, Jason.
It's an obsession.
Yeah.
Can you just ship me some eggs so I don't have to go to the store and take out a second home equity loan or something?
Well, Lord, honey, I can tell you, I could ship them to you cheaper than you can buy in the dang store. Let me tell you, honey, here in Lakeland, eggs is like $8 a dozen. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I mean, I can squeeze eggs out of a chicken quicker than $8 a dozen. But, it's cheaper to feed them. I'm telling you what. So,
well, that makes I imagine that makes things challenging as a baker.
It does.
How do you feel about vegan or non-butter and egg baking? Have you dabbled in it, or do you have any recipes for that, or is it oxymoronic?
I do. I'm like, I don't know. You wandered into the swamp, honey. So I do some in the vegan and the gluten-free world, the vegan, the less sugar, the all that kind of world. I mean, it's okay if it's done right, but that stuff was put here for us to eat. So let's just eat it. But I can do it all. If you need to be vegan, that's fine. I have a lot of vegan and vegetarian friends and all that, and it's wonderful. It gives me another thing to perfect, because I'm that way. If I can't do it, I'm going to perfect it.
I try not to be judgmental either, even though it's garbage. So
that is the worst fraudulent statement we've ever had on the show. He tries not to be judgmental.
They have awesome vegan butter out now, which
actually they do. Yeah,
you can't tell the difference.
Are gluten-free dirty words to a baker? I mean, like somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, you got anything gluten-free?" and you want to tell them to go,
You're like, well, honey, I'm Southern. So Southern people has a way of telling you whether you realize it or not. I mean, we smile and we say, well, bless your heart, honey. Are you really gluten-free? And then you say, well, I've got this that you could try. Or there's a great gluten-free place down the road, but bless your heart, honey. I feel sorry for you. So, we have that bless your heart thing. You never know whether we're actually really blessing you hard or whether we're telling you to go jump off somewhere.
Yeah, see, Defo and we're from Brooklyn, and we don't have a very good Southern hospitality. We can't BS our way through anything. The Brooklyn guys just kind of tell it like it is, but we try to be really gentle about it. So I wanted to ask, because we have the Facebook group, and I asked some members if they had any questions for you, and we had one from Elena, and she said, "What is the one thing that you must bake during the Christmas season? Do you have a holiday standard?"
Yes, the one thing that I must bake during the holiday season is my awe-inspiring, award-winning Yule log. So if most people have watched me on Holiday Baking Championship, I do this Yule log. It looks like a windowsill, and then I do an isomalt window, and it looks like you're looking right into somebody's living room with their tree decorated. And so that is a must for me every holiday season. And I've done that Yule log for years, even before it won any awards on television, but that is a must that I have to have during the holiday season.
What's in
And
that? Is that a chocolatey thing? Or
so
I'm sorry.
it's actually pumpkin, pecan, and bourbon. So it's a
Ooh.
pumpkin, very kind of like fall spice sponge cake. And then
Okay.
the filling is almost like a pecan bourbon cheesecake. And then, of course, it's rolled up and it gets this wonderful bourbon glaze on it. And then a lot of dusty snow that's powdered sugar. And it's one of those things, honey, you just want to sit in a dark room with yourself and eat it in the corner because you're going to be moaning the whole time. So.
And she had just a follow-up question. What's your feelings on panettone? The Italian fruitcake. Are you a fan, or do you want to toss it out the window? Oh, okay.
I'm a fan, but I don't eat it as it comes to you in that lump form. So
yeah.
The best panettone that you can do is to make it into a bread pudding. It's awesome.
So so the key to the panettone is reconfiguring it into something else, because nobody could eat it just dry out of the box.
No, dry, honey. Lord, it's dry. It's like a burnt boot, honey. You couldn't chew it if you wanted to. But honey,
soak it in some bourbon.
Bourbon, eggs, cream, honey, some sugar up in there, and bake that sucker, and then put you a big bourbon caramel sauce over it. And listen, they ain't nothing bourbon can't cure, honey. I can tell you.
Like bourbons and everything.
I've become a big brown liquor drinker again. I think the pandemic did it to me for a while. I was just on the clear ones. But what do you have a preferred brand, a bourbon, rye, anything?
Yeah, so I have this thing. There's cooking bourbons and then there's drinking bourbons. So cooking bourbons is like I use Wild Turkey 101. I use Old Forester. I use Kentucky Gentleman, which is gut rot bourbon, but it has the best flavor. Drinking bourbons, I want Angel's Envy. I want Rooster Cock. I want Basil Hayden. Those are great drinking ones.
Nice.
I work real close with a company called Rooster Cock that's out of Bardstown, Kentucky. It's the oldest bourbon that dates back to being bourbon. So it's a really awesome company.
They're based in Kentucky?
They're in Bardstown, Kentucky. Honey, you can only call it bourbon if it comes from Kentucky. You might call it bourbon if you're out of the state, but there's requirements that you have to do to call it bourbon.
It's kind of like the French and champagne. Got it. Okay. Because Tennessee, they have a couple with those, George Dickel and the Jack Daniels, but that's Tennessee whiskey. That's
whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. All right. I am so grateful that you were able to join us today. I look forward to meeting you in the flesh in a couple of days at the Smithfield barbecue battle. Do you dabble in the arts of smoking and barbecue?
I do.
Meat?
I actually am savory and sweet. I do both. So smoking, barbecue is one of my favorite things in life. I mean, I will barbecue. I will smoke anything that you can shoot, kill, or bring to me. I will figure out a way to smoke it. I mean, I grew up on deer meat and raccoon and, groundhog and squirrels and rabbits. So,
so
all that great stuff.
It's all biscuits and gravy from here then. That's
Lord,
all.
honey, yes.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure getting to chat with you today, and I hope that our Lunchbox audience appreciated it. Jason, thank you so much from the bottom of my Brooklyn heart. Bless your heart. That's sincere, not meant to be. Well, I am truly grateful.
All of a sudden, he morphed into Joel Osteen on the show. Unbelievable. He never did that with anybody. He obviously was starstruck here, Jason.
And again, everybody, all the tickets for the ticketed events are sold out. Phil and Kate did a fantastic job, and I'm glad that the Lunchbox audience has helped support the festival as well. But again, Sunday you'll be out there with all your merch, right? So selling, and that's
all week, but Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday will be set up. Chef Jason Smith again. Then that family day is going to be fantastic because it's free and it's open to all ages. Bring the kids. And you come on down and you get the food trucks to get your food and purchase food there. And then also all kinds of great demonstrations and things going on. And you'll be doing a great baking demonstration at Saturday's grand tasting. I hope to see everybody there. Jason Smith, thanks so much. And I guess now is a good time to take a break. We'll be back on the Lunchbox after these words.
That was out of nowhere.
Sorry. People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent. We're back on the Lunchbox, and yeah, it was nice chatting with Jason Smith. I always
you
like
scared
those-
him though. I think he got very frightened when you said you were going to meet him in the flesh, and started envisioning a naked Mayo on the rooftop there at the
holding
barbecue thing
my beef ribs and a whole brisket in one hand
with a
and
mouthful of a slider. Yeah, I mean, unbelievable.
That's
But
all right.
that'll be a lot of fun. No, it seemed like a really good guy. I mean, the weird thing is when you watch those shows, and I don't know about, I don't see the competitions as much on the Food Channel. I was more weaned on and then weaned off of, the
Gordon
ridiculous theatrics of the Gordon Ramsay type of stuff. But I mean, it's interesting because do you have to get into a psychotic mode to compete in those things? And he seemed like the type that would be able to shrug off almost anything. I mean, including, some ugly comments, not necessarily the most flattering words from one of the judges.
Oh yeah, no, it takes a certain makeup in order to, you got to be able to stand the heat to get in the kitchen there and those cooking and
I like when
TV.
Ramsay fires like something at somebody. That's always my favorite thing. Just starts a food fight like he was John Blutarski there in the cafeteria at Faber.
I like this cat because I like, the stories of people coming from, out of nowhere and just all of a sudden winning these
great, yeah.
competitions. And then, you could tell he's got the personality that's perfect for TV and endearing himself to people. And again, anybody who, is into bourbon, bacon, butter, and has gone to Kentucky Derby and
Are you a
trashes
fan
mint
of beer
juleps.
cheese, by the way? I mean, would you
I
go
like-
out of your way?
There's a place up in Coral Springs in Lubie's neck of the woods, that Big Bear Brewing Company. They're known
Yeah, they
for
make
their
a beer cheese soup.
beer cheese soup. It's pretty good. It's
Yeah,
pretty
you've
good.
had it? Wow.
Yeah, I've had it, and it's
All
good,
right.
and I like it. So sue me.
I didn't say I just asked if you liked it. I mean, you
No,
don't
you
have to
seem
get all
to make a
sensitive
face
about it.
every time you say beer cheese.
No, I mean, it was kind of an interesting concept to me.
It's like somebody
I
served
didn't
you
think it
a
was all that
soft-shell
great.
taco or something. And
Yeah, I don't complain though. I'm not like you. I don't get all grouchy about the whole thing. I mean, I was enjoying some free music. They could have brought
Yeah.
me anything. And
when
I would've
Jason
been
said
fine.
he's sweet and savory, I was thinking, well, I'm grouchy and grumpy. So that's my
Yeah, no, you're down about a lot of things. But you've eaten burgoo too. I mean, some guy throws a squirrel in a pot, and you're going to eat that? Get out
Yeah,
of here, Mayo.
I've been to Kentucky and Kentucky Derby.
So have I,
was-
and I didn't care to find out the ingredients. Yeah.
No, you don't. It's like, you don't ask what's in the chili when you're up in the Rocky Mountains, and you don't ask what's in the burgoo when you're in Kentucky. But I always want to eat.
But
what
you
the
know
local-
it's going to be bad going in with burgoo. I mean, it's not like they, got a filet mignon at the butcher shop at Tropical Acres and carved it up.
speaking of
They're on possum in there, for God's sake. Possum.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, we could do the live spot for Tropical Acres now, since I just wanted to get Jason out of there before I
You
start
lost it there for a
going-
second. I mean, you started blessing him as if you were Pope Benedict. I mean, that guy checked out. What was that, Mayo? That was so uncharacteristic and so
I was
out of.
being grateful. I mean,
your
tomorrow we're going to have
personality.
Ingrid Hoffman, another star.
Well,
She's
don't
local.
fall
She's-
apart at the end of that interview. I mean, start blessing the woman. I mean, please.
Bless your heart.
The rest of
love.
the time, you're a complete wise guy, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, thank you, God, for coming on the show. I mean,
Bless your heart.
I've never seen anything like it.
It's nice. Look, let's face it. It's nice to talk to somebody other than you and Lubie. So that's,
Oh, so see, there you got to turn it into ugliness. I don't get it, Mayo. Come on. Tell us
Hey,
about Tropical Acres. That's always a good thing.
oh yeah, Tropical Acres. It's the place to be for your finest in steaks, seafood, and just hospitality. If whether it's a special occasion or any occasion, Tropical Acres is open at every day except Sunday, starting at 4:30 p.m. with the bar and the early bird special. They're not ashamed to still have an early bird for those who
The
come
bird
out.
is a good consideration there. You,
Bird
you
is
don't
the
have to
word.
feel like an old fart to take advantage of the bird. It's just a great
Well,
bargain.
Geez, there's a
here's
great
the
deal.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. Now, a lot of people that are working, remotely, since the pandemic, and also a lot of people are on these intermittent fasting diets where they want to be done with their eating before 6 o'clock.
Yep.
The early bird is perfect. You go in
Yeah.
there at 4:30. Let's say if you worked at home remotely all day and you get out at
There's a real
5.
stigma about it, unfortunately.
No, it shouldn't be. Well,
Perhaps
most
created by the Neil
places,
Rogers show. That I think that's what really
well, that,
permeated the whole area with the idea
I
that
believe
this is
it's
not a good thing to be involved in.
yeah, it's been 11 years since he's gone and 12 years since he's off the air.
Still,
But
still, a factor though in the
yeah,
psyche of South Florida, I
and
believe, with the early bird.
Norm Kent's still going strong. He's looking to get back on the air with a live stream show. Maybe we could hook him up with somebody. But Tropical Acres. Early bird is not a dirty word because all the other places now they call it happy hour, and they have happy hour too in the bar where you get those great half price drinks and those light bites for $5 and $6, like the coconut shrimp. They even have escargot on the happy hour bar menu, and then the early bird you get extra goodies with your already low priced entrees, like you get a soup and a salad and a side and a dessert and coffee and tea with your entree. It's an incredible deal. They love taking care of people there. The Studiali family, they've been there for decades. The place has been around since 1949. And of course, they have the loyalty reward card. If for every 12 entrees that you go in there and purchase, you get the 13th one on the house, up to $35 value. They also have all kinds of shows and entertainment coming up. Go to tropicalacres.com to check that out. And they also have the butcher shop. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. You go in there and you get your favorite cuts of beef and some other goodies. Like this week, they're selling a pre-made beef fajita mix that you could just kind of throw in the skillet at home and make yourself some fajitas with, I guess, some of those tortillas, soft shell. And you can throw them into a hard shell taco too there if you're Defo. Tropical Acres, again, 2500 Griffin Road, open every day but Sunday. Tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
Outstanding. No, great place. Always a good choice. The happy hour that they do have in the bar is sensational. And as we say, I mean, just like with B. Mayo, Jack Studiali, exuding class.
Yes.
And it's reflected all the way down to, the guy that comes to clear the glasses off your table. I mean, they really do a great job. Tropical Acres, a great place to go.
Yeah. So let me ask you, his catchphrase is Lord Honey. If I started going around calling, just saying Lord Honey to people, do you think
It worked for him. It didn't necessarily.
No.
I don't know that it works for anybody else.
Yeah.
Not
What
yet.
exactly does that mean, Lord Honey? I mean, is it just a saying he made up?
It's like good Lord Honey. It's just a Southern thing.
Yeah.
It's just being, yeah. I don't know. We used to say in Brooklyn, it's like something like GTFO or something like that. But
Yes.
I think it was GFY, but we don't
yeah,
want to go
that
into the
too.
details there. Yeah.
Hey, you're going back to one of my contest clues. KYU. No, wait, that's different than GF.
Might have been the worst clue of the bunch you gave. I have to
All
say.
right.
I mean,
I can't wait to
so
see
so
what
misleading.
you
whatever
come
it
up
was.
with this
Yeah.
week. I'm going to be tasking
There are a lot of
you.
great restaurants. I mean, you're not always a fan of my suggestions, although Rock and Roll Ribs, I think, was a big hit
That was a big hit.
as one
That
of the
was good.
choices.
This week was good. With
The other ones
Onions
were
was
all
good.
classics, yeah,
Well,
which is great.
I'm
I have
gonna-
one in mind.
Okay,
and
good.
I believe you will reject this summarily and go with a more common, choice. That would be my second choice for this
All right.
week's
Well, we'll
contest.
discuss that later
Yeah.
on. And am I coming up with the clues, or are you going to come up with some clues?
Whatever. I mean, you like coming up with the clues. You're like Clouseau on this thing. So
you
I
don't
think,
like my clues. I want your clues.
no, but
wanna
I
be
get a
able
kick
to-
out of the presentation.
Okay.
Because
Well,
I
want to
like it
ridicule
when
your
you're out there
clues
on your
for-
own, like you're just on a wild tangent where there's no bringing you back, except to just lampoon whatever it was that you said.
Wait.
And so
wait,
that's
is
kind
that
of the
pot?
fun part.
That's me, Kettle. Hello.
That one, yeah.
Going out on
Yeah.
wild tangents. I love
Yeah,
it.
but I mean, you got to make them relatable. I think that's the key, and somehow pull it back to whatever it was that you were
Lord,
talking about.
honey, I am relatable. So
Yeah.
relatable. Hey,
But no,
now,
you've been doing a good job. Look, a large number of people have been getting the restaurant
getting
right.
it.
The tough part,
yeah,
I think,
we
is
have
nailing the horse.
This is great. When you have
yeah.
a 23-way shake, it's like Tropical
And
Acres.
that's
You know you're
23
doing
people that
something
got the
right.
winning horse in a 12-horse field. That to me is what makes the degree of difficulty of winning this thing exponentially hard,
Yeah.
no doubt.
It ended up being a 8-horse field last week, but it was,
Whatever
we
it was,
tried
I
to,
mean, it's
yeah,
still
that's
tough,
good.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. What did I want to say? Oh, so and speaking of Gulfstream, we're going to be back out there on Friday in between doing all this.
What could
Visit
Joe
Lauderdale
do this
Food
week?
Lesson.
I mean, you knew he was
Well,
down to like sushi as the one of the
you
few things we hadn't
saw.
tried.
Did you see what I sent? That they have now installed these
Yes, what is that?
the cake vending
Oh, I saw that.
machines.
Yeah,
And these things made their debut out at the Sawgrass Sawgrass Mills Mall a couple of years ago. I think the Sentinel wrote a piece about it. But there's this guy, and I think it's Cakes by Carlos, and he sets up these cake vending machines. And as you said, right, Holy Horn and what is it?
Horn and
The
Hardhead, man,
automat.
used to be my
Yeah,
favorite.
the
You put
automat.
you put the quarter in, and then you'd spin the like the little lock, and out would come one slice of bologna on white. And it was great. But they had a lot of variety, man, and everybody loved operating the little doors there. I don't know if people remember that. I mean, that's
Well,
old school New York, Horn and
it
Hardhead.
was. I remember there used to be one near the Kings Highway subway station.
Very
when I
popular,
when
very
I
popular.
first started traveling to high school, I would commute from Brooklyn
Yeah.
to Manhattan to go to high school. My fancy schmancy. Well, it was a public school, but it was for brainiacs, and I don't know what happened to me along the way. But no, I would. There was a automat near Kings Highway, and I'd go in there sometimes. And you look at that egg salad, and you say, "Really? I don't know if I want to have an
Yeah,
egg
what
salad
level of
sandwich from a
plutonium is
machine."
in this particular dish? Yeah.
So anyway, similarly, there's this cake machine and the vending machine. They're going for $8 a slice. Actually, $9
$8 a slice?
no, $9 including the tax, cashless. All you have to put in a card.
Swipe a
And
card.
I
Okay.
think I don't know what Joe's planning on this week, but I mentioned to Dave Joseph maybe
Why don't we
I'll
just
do
sit in front of the machine and bet on which one
Well, what
comes
do you
out?
think?
Yeah.
what I want to do is like a hot dog eating. I want to eat every cake option
Oh
in
God,
that
no,
machine
please.
and give me an over under of how many slices of cake.
I
think
mean, we want the
yours-
show to go all the way through the year here. So far, you've had 11 slices
At
of
some
pizza.
point-
Now you're going to eat 80 pieces of cake.
At some point, he really wants to just keel over on air, like literally mid
What is your?
sentence.
like
You're
Howard
like Buster
Finch.
Douglas after he won the title off of
Was
Tyson.
that his name? Howard Finch in Network, the guy who just like has, goes on a
This
rant
is
and has
a
the heart
food
attack.
version of Nick Cage in Leaving Las Vegas. If you substituted food for booze, the way that you are operating of late, Mike Mayo. No, you
This-
can't eat all of that cake. Come on. I mean,
God,
we couldn't even allow you to do that ourselves.
Can't
as much
means
as we
not
enjoy it.
able to. Can't means not able to. I'm able to. It's just, would it be a wise move? No, not before
I
the
don't know.
barbecue judging. So maybe I'll hold off on the cake eating until after the food festival is over.
Well, and then you drop into a sugar coma before the third race. And, it won't be good.
No, that-
Now, where is this machine located that you would?
I
I
think
mean,
there's
and would
several.
people really at a racetrack say, "Hey, you know what? I feel
I
like
want a piece of cake.
a piece of bleeping cake." I've
Like, it's
never
not
ever
place.
thought
How
about
do you
that.
eat this? Like,
Never.
Sometimes after I lose, I just feel like I have this like pit of just emptiness in my stomach that only a sugar rush and a piece of cake can fill.
I've
or
never
ice cream.
thought about getting a piece of cake in all
I
the
can
years I've been going to the racetrack.
remember
Never.
the
It's-
grandma's cookies? I can see cookies. That's a
Ice
walk
cream,
around.
maybe.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
People
Maybe.
love ice cream. They have in
Yeah.
Haagen-Dazs at the Gulfstream Village. But no, it is quite odd. I guess you call it, batter and betters, but I just don't get.
What's the worst
mix.
food you've ever purchased from a vending machine?
Oh, so it was one time when I was in.
I think we
Amsterdam.
discussed this though. I mean,
not
in
a
my
big fan.
college, there were two things that like you ended up buying because it was the only like edible stuff that even was slightly indicative of like a meal. But I mean, disgusting. Dinty Moore beef stew
I
Right,
saw
that's
that in
right.
the
and
store.
Hormel chili were the two things that
Right.
were in the vending machine.
But you buy it from the machine and then you have to microwave it. It's like going to the company cafeteria we used to have at the Sun Sentinel, and
Yeah,
after the
pretty gross.
after the live cafeteria workers,
Dinty Moore
left
beef
and
stew
closed
might
down.
have been burgoo.
They
It
would
might
have-
have been. Yeah.
Probably did. Probably is.
What do you
But,
think? I mean, what have you bought out of a vending machine that you looked
So,
at?
okay, one
afterwards
time-
and you literally hated yourself for pulling
okay,
the
so
lever?
one time I was in Amsterdam. Well, I've been to Amsterdam a number of times. I used to like going there in the off season when I was a football writer, because of various reasons, and it was just a nice place to hang out in Europe. They had after you'd go to the cafes and partake in some of the local products, you would get a little bit hungry. And there's McDonald's and fast food places, but they also had these weird little automats that were around town, and they had all these things, and they have these kind of like croquettes, some they have like potato croquettes and things like that. And one time I opened it up and it was like a little fried ball, and I thought it was these like ham and cheese croquettes or something like that. And I took a bite, and I was in a state of not well, it was altered consciousness, but it was just, imagine you're not expecting something, and it wasn't burgoo or raccoon or anything like that, but it was herring. It was like a ball that was
Yeah.
filled with
A scratch on
chopped
that.
herring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was the worst thing I've ever
My mother
consumed.
used to eat it. It was disgusting, man. Pickled herring was the worst. And then
No,
herring and cream sauce. I mean, just absolutely grotesque to me.
no, I gotta correct you on that, because in Amsterdam in the springtime, and when it was fresh herring season, there were these little food stands that would sprout around town. They'd put fresh herring with onions, not in a cream sauce, but just like herring and onions on these
They-
little fresh baguettes. And it was delicious. Like, fresh herring is great, but when it's minced up in a ball and fried up and you're not expecting it to be herring.
Totally disgusting there. Green Eyed Girl says we're trampling Lubie. I mean, you had hysteria about the cookies. Was that it?
No, I was just saying I saw your Dinty Moore beef stew in the store the other day, and I laughed.
Oh, yeah.
Sell this crap in 2000.
Still around. I mean, Mayo likes to attach a lot of credibility to longevity, but I don't know that they've distinguished themselves as something really good to eat. Dinty Moore beef stew.
It's around for a reason. Just
Probably
like,
expensive now, too.
just like, did you see that guy trash that place on the Hollywood Broadwalk that's been there? And the place has
Oh,
been
yeah,
there for
yeah.
over
What's
20 years.
what's that place called? La Brochette
La
or something?
Brochette. It's one of these like tourist trap places, and I
Very
guess
ugly reviews.
oh man, it was ugly. But then other people were talking about how ugly it is, and I guess the person was missed because it was the old bait and switch where try to order the basic fish sandwich, like a tilapia sandwich for $9.95.
Right.
Next thing you know, guy says, "Oh, we don't have any tilapia. Can we give you the fish of the day, grouper?" Which probably wasn't even grouper anyway, but
Yeah.
I can't say that for any definitive facts. So, but the guy got that and was surprised when presented with the bill. All of a sudden, the $9.95 sandwich was $27.95. So that was
And on $20 to your tab there for making a substitution. Hope that came with coleslaw. Otherwise, it would have been a total ripoff. But how could a place possibly survive? I mean, it's one thing. I know you're not a big fan of the whole Yelp thing and all of that, and I don't know that I would attach total credibility to
no,
everybody.
I don't
that's,
attach much credibility at
bitching
all to
about,
Yelp. That's why
yeah.
we started Best of Delray Beach, Best of
that sort
Local,
of thing.
because-
What I was going to say is that when a place is just universally, I mean, not just panned. I mean, it's not like they say, "Well, the service was a little slow." They said this place sucks.
right, when a place gets a
100
one
people in a row, and they stay in business for years. That's almost impossible to conceive of.
one word: tourists. That's it. Tourists don't know. They come in and they get hungry. It's along the beach, and they
You would
see
think word would eventually circulate, though, because there are a lot
not
of
even to
choices
the-
there.
Well,
no?
the word apparently doesn't circulate in the French Quebecois
Well,
language.
that's another story, okay.
I don't know
Yeah.
if that's dependent on the Quebec snowbirds and turtles. I don't know. It mystifies me because I see some places and I just say, how does that stay in business? A place that is just worse than mediocre, or might have bad service. There's no redeeming qualities, and yet, nevertheless,
And the
they
owner comes
persist.
over and like starts screaming at you like the soup Nazi, and telling you that hey, you don't like it here, get the bleep out.
It's a mystery. Hey, we got to do a double break, but before then, I got to talk about our good friends Neki Mohan and Visit Lauderdale. Going to come up with a place for the Lunar New Year. Maybe go to a good Chinese restaurant and spotlight that cuisine coming up for our next Neki Mohan Visit Lauderdale remote show. But Greater Fort Lauderdale welcomes everyone under the sun, and that means all you foodies out there, especially this week, the great Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival going on. I think it's the 4th overall. It had
Is that drawn from out of town, Michael?
Oh
Do
yeah,
they-
people coming in from it. And besides people competing and presenting and doing
Yeah, I
things
mean,
like
does it draw
Jason
like
Smith and
general
Ann Randolph. No,
food
this
connoisseurs?
time of year there are people coming in
All right.
specifically for the festival, and that's one of the great things that could attract visitors. And again, a lot of people coming down from other parts of the state and coming down from Boca and Delray, and again, that's coming to a different county and coming in and spending their dollars here in Greater Fort Lauderdale, and we love that. Neki Mohan loves that. Visit Lauderdale loves that. And But there's such a good reason to do it this week and beyond, because from dockside dining with breathtaking views and lively cafes along Las Olas Boulevard to award-winning chefs serving up every cuisine imaginable, it's a world-class culinary scene waiting for you right here. More than 4,000 restaurants in the greater Fort Lauderdale area, serving up more than 70 different types of cuisine. And there's also the thrilling nightlife scene with the craft breweries along the Visit Lauderdale Ale Trail, the hidden speakeasies, and of course the rooftop bars where we'll be hanging out tonight. At least me, Lubie, and Shirley will be. And I've got a pass for you there if you want to send.
I can't go by myself. I mean, the only reason I would have wanted to go is because the Mustang obviously has been a long time bartender.
Yeah.
And so she might get a kick out of this, probably knows some of the people involved. I'm just curious because I don't know. I mean, every now and then you get like a fancy schmancy drink and you're thinking, wow, that was really good. Yeah.
Well, maybe we could talk your way in there, or maybe I'll. Yeah, we'll see what happens. If you really want,
I could not come. If I went solo to that would be the end.
That would be the end of that marriage. That would be what?
I mean, we've been teetering on the razor's edge for the entire 10 years. That would be the finishing touch right there.
That's it.
Yeah. You went with Mayo to what? Yeah.
Anyway, it's a never-ending culinary celebration here in Greater Fort Lauderdale, and everyone's invited. So for more information about upcoming events and the latest promotions and deals, go to visitlauderdale.com.
What are you looking for down there? I mean, what kind of cocktail is going to knock your socks off?
I don't know. I'm not a tequila drinker, but I will, for purposes of being a judge, I do have to take sips of everything. And
what about like the pear margarita? Is that the type of thing we would?
Oh well, the prickly pear margaritas become, I don't want to say played out. I still love them, especially at Canyon.
A lot of people have different interpretations of that drink. So
that's interesting. I like the watermelon jalapeno combination. You see that a lot now in some of those margaritas and stuff like that. Hey, before we take our final break, I just want to throw out two questions for you that we're going to be talking about when we come back. And number one, because I experienced this last night, is what is the highest amount that you've ever paid for a solo dinner out? Like go to a restaurant just by yourself.
Kind of by myself? Wow.
Yeah, I'll save the answer. And then the second question involves, I'll be back with today's pizza slices of the day for National Pizza Week. And
what number are you on?
Do you, I bought two at my local.
No, but I mean, what's the total so far going?
I got to tally it during the break. But
like
the question is, do you blot your pizza of the oil?
Gosh. I heard about that.
We'll talk about
all credibility for Mayo out the window
after
on that
the break. We'll be back. You like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, Even Keel Fish Shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. when the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. We're back on the Lunchbox. What a glorious day. Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. We got the bar fight cocktail competition coming up tonight.
You're judging the cocktails tonight as well. So you're judging what do you
I think that's part of my deal. I don't know. I mean, maybe I won't be judging tonight, but I'm going to show up there and be prepared for anything. So that's
bring a scorecard.
I'll bring
just in case. Yeah,
I bring a pen and I do what I'm instructed. So
you have to see this though, Lubie. You'll witness this tonight. He is forms a quick impression. Impression when he does this stuff.
It's like, you know when something's good. It's
like the Hall of Fame. You're either a Hall of Famer or you're not.
Right? It's like which Supreme Court justice in that famous decision about involving obscenity said, "I know it when I see it." It's like it's the same thing. I know a good cocktail when I taste it. It's just like quick. So anyway, here we go. It is National Pizza
Neither
Week.
of us offered an answer on the Supreme Court justice question.
I have no idea.
I think it might have been burger. I don't know.
All right, what do you got there? Another box of pizza?
This is
required today? Get out of here.
This I got before the show because it opened at 11. And again, a place that was open today. And so I'm going out to some of my local spots this week. And of course, we'll have the pizza spot included for some pizza slices tomorrow.
And they're going to win in a runaway pizza spot.
But this is from Joe's Old School Pizza.
That's getting a lot of great reviews.
Several locations, but the first one that he owned, this is a guy from Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, who was a contractor down here and decided to open a pizza place. And I love this place is on South Federal. You drove past it the other day.
I did. I saw it, and I had, naturally it stood out because Wicked Cheesesteaks, I'd seen so many favorable things about it. I thought, wow, if I was going to stop in, let's see, what does that look like? Thin crust?
It's very thin crust.
We need a profile of that thing. So
the sauce is a little sweeter.
That looks really good. Although it looks like you dried it in with a hair blower. What did you do to that?
Here's the thing. First of all, I love when it first opened. I love their slices. They used, I think, a little bit better quality cheese, and it was a little bit thicker with the cheese. There's still a thin crust, but I think it's trended downward in the past couple of years. Wow. It's not on my top 10 list anymore. But when you're in need of a slice, I love it because it is like just an old school slice joint where you just walk up to this window. It's like a converted Rita's Ices building. So
how many? The guy just yells, "How many?"
Yeah, and they have their deli special all day where you get 2 slices and a drink for $6.99. It used to be $4.99, then $5.99.
It's not bad.
Eggs
alone, the price of eggs is throwing them into that.
But here you go. It's thin.
It doesn't look good though the way you blotted it up.
Well,
what are you doing?
So when I first picked it up, it's the way that Defo likes it, where you could get the grease running down your chin, and then when you fold it over, you want, but not when you're wearing like a nice shirt. I'm wearing my nice button-down shirt. I don't want to get grease stains all over it. So and again, when I grew up, some of us would take the napkins and blot it. I do that occasionally if it's.
I've seen it. It's wrong, and if you do it in front of the guy that made the pizza, then they should throw you out of there. I mean, just as if you were getting treated like Joe Pesci was in that scene in Casino. Now
this again, the sauce has gotten too sweet for me here, or I guess it was always a little sweet. But for those who like the sweeter sauce, you might like this pizza. I just think It's not what it used to be, but it's still a decent New York style slice. I saw that Lubie was kind of questioning me about the whole folding the pizza
I'm
while you're eating
questioning
it.
you.
You have it hanging like a bat. The way I mean, it just doesn't look that
Well,
appealing. But you
what
messed
do you
with
do?
it.
You just eat it.
Yeah.
Like I don't like. I like folding it because to me it makes it
No,
more like a
folding it is
pizza.
very weak. Very weak.
Everyone said they folded, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
feel like you lose half the pizza. Like,
No, you
You like
gain a
the
pizza
pizza.
sandwich. It becomes like a pizza
It takes
sandwich.
all of the fun out of eating pizza. Oh, folding it is so pedestrian.
my wife was
Good
My
for
attacking
you.
God, Mayo. And you claim to be from New York, and these are the habits that you're going to exhibit on the show? You have
National
to be
Food
kidding me.
Truck Foundation like chimed in on my TikTok and was like, the union of food trucks or whatever was like, you must fold. I was like, okay, all right.
Pretty much
You
everybody in New
only fold
York.
it if there's something wrong with it, no?
No, in New York, when you're sitting around with, like, okay, there's the fancy schmancy Neapolitan where you sit with a knife and fork on a plate.
No, that's wrong
No,
too.
Don't
Yeah.
even do that.
but when you get a pizza, a slice from a slice joint in New York,
You
and you're going
balance the
down the
thing,
street,
and then you eat it, and you
no,
let the
you
cheese
fold
and
it
the
over,
grease
and you
drip
could
off your
like
chin.
nowadays, especially with the phone, you need like
Oh,
one
my
hand on your
God.
phone and one hand. Oh,
Are you sure you're
wow.
not from New Jersey, Mayo? I mean, I don't think you're from New York.
Those are fighting
You
words.
must be from Pennsylvania.
Lord,
No?
honey, bless your heart. No.
Wow. You
All
were,
right.
I mean, just absolutely erasing, many standards about eating pizza out in New York that it makes one question your credit.
There's
I
two
mean,
schools of
you're like the
thought.
George Santos of pizza now. It's unbelievable.
The George Santos of pizza.
I don't lie about my pizza background. I've been eating pizza
Well, I
since I
mean, you're
was.
folding it, you're blotting it, you're doing a lot of
People in New
strange
York
things.
fold their pizza. People in Brooklyn
And what do you
blot
blot
their
it with?
pizza.
Like a makeup kit? I mean, what do you use?
No,
A
just the
towel?
napkins. The
Napkin,
napkins that they have there. You just do
And
the
the
napkins.
paper sticks. You got to be kidding me, Michael.
My old friend Jeff Green used to do that, and it would drive me crazy because I never used to blot it. And then I tried it one time, and it helped me in terms of digestion and
But if you're
also
blotting a
something.
piece of pizza that you didn't care for to begin with, then it probably doesn't really accomplish anything. You may as well have eaten it in its
Makes it
natural
drier.
greasy state.
Um,
And then the fold over, I think, is a total Bush League move. I really believe that.
we have some serious differences of opinion there, my friend.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the second question, which is, what's the most you've ever spent going out to eat just solo for a meal?
I don't know that I have an answer to that one.
Never
Yeah.
just go eat. If I'm eating by myself, I'll do something quick. I don't sit down.
Yeah, I usually don't go for some fancy schmancy thing by myself.
Yeah, I
Even
just
if I'm
don't-
on the road, I did a lot of traveling naturally, as you did with the sports. And there were times where, you might be in a restaurant by yourself. But yeah, I don't remember paying a lot of money
Yeah.
for a meal by myself. So I'm the wrong person to ask that question.
I am
All
too.
right.
I'll
So
go to,
you've
like,
never gone. Let's say you've never gone even above like $40 or $50.
Oh no, I'm sure I have, but I haven't had that circumstance that often to say that I have a top, cap number on what I paid for a meal that I had alone. What I would imagine delve into the thousands though. No,
His-
No.
because I
No,
could
but-
see you going to one of those Carbone type of places there and paying like $700 for the 7-course meal. No,
by yourself. Yeah.
by yourself.
I don't
Because
know.
of my nature of my work, if you call it work.
You
or
have
something. But
No, you've been on the road a lot by yourself.
I set a new record. Oh yeah, and I was on the road a lot,
Yeah.
sports writing, and I'd go into a steakhouse in Dallas, and back then, it was a long time ago, but you could still spend $100 by yourself on a steak and a couple of cocktails, martinis, and some side dishes. But no, last night I set a new personal record, personal best. Because I wanted to check out this new sushi omakase place up in Del Rey, and Dick Steen wouldn't foot the bill. Actually, I didn't ask him, but I just wanted to go.
What happened with Dixon? He used to spring for everything.
And things are getting a little tight.
Is the app going well? I mean, what's happening?
No, it's going well. We're just obviously the resources have to go towards marketing and things like that. So,
But you're not used to Dick Steen looking at you as if you're going to be responsible for a piece of this action.
well, no,
Correct?
it's look. I wanted to check this place out. Oh, now the pizza's coming back on me. But the
Well, you had 3
want to check
slices
the
by the
place out
time you
because-
folded them all over.
yeah, and now by the way, that my week total is up to 10. I think the
Yeah, that's
number
what I saw.
was set
That's
at
right.
12. So
Yeah.
I'm going to demolish it by the time we get to Friday at Gulfstream.
So what was the damage
and-
on this thing?
So, so this omakase, which was a fantastic experience, the food was very good.
Right.
They have 12 seats at this sushi bar. It's called Taki. It's on Atlantic Avenue. It opened just a month ago. opened by a guy who ran a couple of places in Boca, and then some other traditional Japanese restaurants, and then now he's doing this high-end omakase, $150 per person.
Whoa.
And I went by myself, and it was 19 courses, including dessert, of all these different high-quality pieces
You had
of
a
imported fish.
19-course meal last night?
A 19-course meal with a glass of French Sancerre wine from the Loire Valley and a bottle of sparkling water. So the beverages, a glass of wine and the sparkling water, brought my total up to $180 tax and
Wow.
tip. My final was $232, including the tax
Well,
tip.
thank God you won all that
wine.
money at the poker
For you.
tournament.
This is
Yeah.
what happens when you win a little money at the poker tournament. You say, I want to.
$230 for a meal by yourself. That would
230.
eclipse anything
Yeah.
by
That was
a
my
wide
personal
margin that I
high.
ever
Yeah.
spent. Yeah.
I think my
Eating alone.
personal high before that might have been like $105 or $110. This
I mean,
one
if you had a hot
smashed it.
babe with you and you went for $230, I would say, okay, that's more than justified.
Well, they seated me in between two hot babes who,
Oh, yeah?
unfortunately, were with other people, their dates and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Very strong, virile-looking men, yes.
yes, very much stronger and much more virile than me. But I was
Maybe with
making
big
love to my
bankrolls.
fish. Actually, the woman came back. She kept trying to push more wine. Oh, you ready for more wine? Can I bring you another glass of wine? And I just
Yeah.
turned to her and I said, I'm drunk on fish.
Bring the bottle.
No, I'm drunk on fish. I just had the
All
one,
right.
and I had to drive home. But anyway, definitely recommended for those who appreciate good sushi and omakase. Music was a little loud, and I didn't like the techno music. I would prefer more of a sedate, traditional Japanese kind of the what do they call that music? The
Japanese music.
Japanese music. Yes, yeah. You know, when you go into the Japanese gardens and you hear these nice little like
Yeah,
strings
yeah,
of
yeah.
harpsichord.
Little string instruments, that you've
Yes.
never seen in any
You
music
feel like
store.
just
Yeah.
you're getting ready to get your foot massage or somebody to walk on your back or something.
Little fish biting your feet. That's
Yes,
what you're looking
that's
for there.
what-
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking
All right, very good. So you guys have a good time. Knock it out of the park tonight at that.
Now I
the
feel
blues
bad,
festival.
Defo. Do you want me to try to like hustle up something for you?
Maybe have our tickets. I mean, I can.
No,
talk
I'm
to
okay. No, it's okay.
I thought you
Yeah.
said. I thought you just. All right. Well, we'll take this off.
I'm all right. You know what? I enjoy the fact that you guys are going to have a good time. I'm one of those type of people, literally.
Yeah, we got to keep
I-
you in
I'm
shape
okay
for
with
the
it.
rest of the week. Friday night, you're allowed to go hog wild at the barbecue competition because it's a Friday night.
That was great too. Very good. But I have to be very careful. I'm still dealing with the broken toe. It looks like another 2
Are you
weeks of
coming
hobbling.
Friday night or what?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be
Yeah,
there Friday
yeah,
night.
You got that.
If I have to bow out, I will, because one of the prohibitive things is that the Mustang doesn't eat red meat. So we'll have to hang at the chicken place there. That what was it, Josephine?
What she do? Pork?
She was doing some. She doesn't eat pork, but she'll eat
Oh,
chicken.
not pork or
There
red.
might be a couple of vegan options.
But there may be one of those things, because these vegans get really, really weird, and they start saying, "Oh, well, they might have grilled some meat on that thing, so now I can't have that."
Oh, she's that.
And I'm like, I'm not that particular. Hand me a piece of chicken, I'll be fine.
That's it. I'm going to
Yeah.
leave you to settle that out. Settle all that. All right, that's it.
So
We're done for
I
today.
may be a scratch. I don't know. If I am, I'll let you know in well in advance.
Wow. All right. Well, maybe. You know what? I can't get in the middle of all that. We'll figure it out.
Don't worry about it yet. It's too early in the week.
Me worry? Nah. All right. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks to Chef Jason Smith. We'll see him out at the festival later in the week. Thanks to Mike Lubie Lubitz, Jeff Defo DeForest. This is Mike Mayo saying enjoy every pizza slice and enjoy every sandwich.